have some news just coming in this morning. After action-packed visit to the US, the Prime Minister is now leaving for Egypt. He's going to Cairo. The Prime Minister is all set to visit the 11th century Al-Hakim Mosque here during his two-day visit to Egypt. Beginning on Saturday, the Prime Minister's visit to the mosque is scheduled as the first event of the last day of his two-day program in Egypt's sprawling capital of Cairo. The Prime Minister will spend nearly half an hour at the Al-Hakim Mosque, a historic and prominent mosque in Cairo, named after Al-Hakim al-Bi Amra Allah, the 16th Fatimid Caliph. The Prime Minister is going to be in Egypt for 2 days now. He in fact has departed for Egypt. These are pictures coming in right now of the Prime Minister leaving for Cairo in these visuals. Well, after an action-packed visit to America, the Prime Minister is leaving for Egypt. He's all set to visit the 11th century Al-Hakim Mosque here during his two-day visit. In fact, Egypt has also spoken about the fact that the Prime Minister's visit is indeed going to be a game-changer for bilateral ties. Besides the co-production of military equipment, this is what really is on the agenda. The two sides to discuss Egypt's offer of a dedicated slot for India within the Suez Canal economic zone. Also, the Prime Minister's visit to Egypt is really being seen as a game-changer for bilateral ties, with the two sides expected to put in place arrangements to ramp up cooperation in areas ranging from security to trade and investment. This is what the Egyptian ambassador has said. Besides the co-production of military equipment, the two sides will discuss Egypt's offer of a dedicated slot for India within the Suez Canal economic zone. Indian investments in green hydrogen and tourism are other areas with great potential, is what has been said by Egypt.
Yeah, just some of our favorite photos for the last weekend. So it's
The Prime Minister's mosque visit in Egypt also sending a message to Indian Muslims there, particularly Dawoodi Bohra Muslims, seen to be as supporters of the Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister, of course, has had a very warm relationship with the Dawoodi Bohras for many years. He is visiting the Imam Al-Hakim Bi Amra Allah Mosque, which is a nearly 1,000-year-old structure in the heart of the Egyptian capital of Cairo. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on your screens right now, leaving for Egypt after his very, very eventful visit, two-day visit to the US. The Prime Minister is going to be in Egypt for 2 days. And this has been welcomed by authorities in Egypt, talking about the fact that this indeed is going to be a landmark step vis-a-vis the bilateral ties that India shares with Egypt. Also speaking about the fact that greater Indian presence in the Suez region is welcome. The Prime Minister is all set to reach Cairo today. He is now departed for Cairo. He is going to be in Egypt for the next 2 days. A series of engagements in New York and Washington that the Prime Minister just concluded, and will have a series of engagements in Egypt as well. He is visiting Egypt upon the invitation of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. The visit holds immense significance that it marks Modi's first trip to Egypt ever and serves as the first official bilateral visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Egypt since 1997. Well, there have been intimate visits in the past as well, but this one is particularly important because this is a state official bilateral visit. Particularly the visits in the past were multilateral visits. The Prime Minister's visit to Egypt also follows President El-Sisi's visit to India as a chief guest on Republic Day, signifying wholly the strengthening of bilateral ties and the mutual desire to enhance cooperation between the two nations. First, there is going to be a ceremonial welcome at the airport today, after which a brief interaction with the Egyptian Prime Minister, a round table with the Egyptian Prime Minister, interaction with the Indian community, meeting with the Grand Mufti of Egypt, and interaction with Egyptian thought leaders. Tomorrow, which is a Sunday, there is going to be a visit to the Al-Hakim Mosque, visit of the Heliopolis War Memorial, welcome of Prime Minister by the Egyptian President, and this is going to happen at the Presidential Palace, one-to-one meeting between the leaders, extended level talks, signing of strategic partnership documents or MOUs, press statements, and then of course conferring of the Order of the Nile. A lunch is going to be hosted by the Egyptian President. Tomorrow, sometime in the evening, the Prime Minister returns back home. Wrapping up an action-packed visit to America, the Prime Minister is headed for Cairo right now. He is going to Egypt.